This morning I had a conversation about religions, the mechanics of religion, and this conversation was pretty interesting. I talked with a person who is semi-religious, and this made me think a little bit about this whole idea of the religious mind and the unreligious mind, and also about the idea of open-mindedness itself and where it actually begins. So I'll give you this small example to illustrate this a little bit. So let's say a person is religious. What is happening in his mind, and also not only in the religious, but also in just a normal human mind? We have a neurological level of worldview, basically everything that we believe. All our beliefs are collected together to create a worldview. And then in that level, there are assumptions about our existence. Basically, sort of verbal explanation to why we are here. What is our function, etc. Which is a human thing. We like to explain everything. We like to understand. That's actually a mind bias. But everyone has it. This is like a program. Without it, you go to nihilism and you have no meaning. So it's a little bit like a survival thing that you have. So you need, as the human biomachine that you are, to have some sort of explanation about what is happening. That's a need, a deep need. Now, this need now is hijacked, or there is a different type of programming through your culture, through your parents or whatever. Someone installs ideas about what this experience is, where we came from. It can be culture, it can be religion, it can be also science with the Big Bang or whatever. There is a story in your mind. Now, let's go to the religious and unreligious mind. What will happen with the religious mind? The religious mind believes these stories and it doesn't question them. So, for example, let's take, there is some religious book, and this religious book can be hateful or racist or whatever. The religious mind will not question the written words or the book. The religious mind will try to understand why what is written is actually not hateful. And that's why religious scholars exist, which for me are just like lawyers. They are like the lawyers of religion that try to sugarcoat something that was in the cultural context of the past written inside this holy book, which is actually human-made. They try to change the meaning through, again, verbal representation in order to make it appeal to the new human that lives today. And the religious mind will believe now the scholar, the lawyer of religion. Now, the non-religious person will question the book itself, the written words. He will see that, okay, it doesn't seem very holy to me. Maybe there are holes in this religion. Maybe there is a lot of noise and not enough signal. Maybe it was written many years ago, and there are a lot of religions, so maybe it's not fully true. But in this moment, he is already non-religious, because the religious mind will believe, the non-religious mind will question, and that's the separation of the two. Now, is the non-religious mind now open mind? Not yet. Why? Because he still has this matrix of beliefs that contains and creates his worldview. Now, as I said before, we all need that, right? But he now believes something else. Maybe he believes in another religion, so he's in another bubble, another labyrinth of mind, as I call it. Or maybe he's very scientific, and now everything that is not scientific is not true, because it's not proved by science. But then he doesn't see that he is in another bubble of assumptions. Now, where open-mindedness begins? It begins when you realize that every verbal human representation of meaning is like a map that is glued upon reality. And that true meaning cannot be found with words in any system, nothing. The truth is behind all of that, behind all of those representations. You can only directly experience it, and even if you directly experience it through your senses, these are also representations. And this understanding is the beginning of open-mindedness.